Welcome to the session on construction materials. I am from Department of Collegiate and Technical Education for Department of Civil Engineering. This is Module 1 on Introduction to Construction Material. This is first lecture of the course of Construction Material, and this lecture I will be introducing the course and telling you why we have to know about the basics behind the science and technology of the construction materials. I will discuss how this course will start and what are the motivations behind this course and what are the motives behind this course. Let us discuss the course outcomes before knowing the entire course. At the end of the course, what we are going to gain is very much essential. Before learning anything, we need to know the outcomes of the course. So at the end of the course, learners will be able to, number 1, identify relevant natural construction materials. Number 2, so relevant natural construction material is nothing but stones, bamboos, unprocessed woods, asphalts, etc. are the natural construction materials. In this unit number 1, you are going to learn about the natural construction materials. Number 2, select relevant artificial construction materials. You can see the word artificial construction material. It means it's a man-made material from the natural material, natural resources. So artificial construction materials are the bricks, tiles, cement, paver blocks, etc. These are the artificial construction material which will be seen in unit number 2, or you can say chapter number 2. Number 3, identify and use the processed construction materials. So identify and use the processed construction materials such as POP, plaster of Paris, fiber reinforced plastics, paints, then other processed materials. So this will be seen in chapter number 3. This is third CO, or you can say course outcome. The fourth course outcome is select the relevant special type of construction material. Nowadays, the huge infrastructure is taken place all over the world, all over the globe, where multi-story buildings are coming up, skyscrapers are coming up, and then you have huge bridges. All these buildings, even including repair also, you need a special type of construction material which can give you a special property compared to the conventional materials which seen in CO1, CO2 and CO3. So generally, special type of construction materials are waterproofing compounds, grouts, geopolymer resins, etc. These things will be studied in the unit number 4. So these are the course outcomes. Course CO1, CO2, CO3 and CO4 we generally call it. So once we start studying this, we must know the evaluation methods, assessment tools utilized to assess the students to get the rewards or marks. So assessment methods, assessment tools are used: the direct method and indirect assessment method. So in direct assessment method, there is one thing, that is CIE, that is continuous internal evaluation. This continuous internal assessment or evaluation will be done through IA tests, internal assessment tests, assignment and student activity. These are two different things. You can see assessment methods are 3 tests are conducted. 3 tests are conducted for 30 marks through the blue books. This will be conducted exactly as your final exams. Very strict evaluation process will be carried out for all 3 tests, and average of 3 tests will be taken, that is 30 plus 30 plus 30 divided by 3, that is for your test. So first test will be for the CO1, CO2 and CO3 for the second test. CO4 will be for the third test. So these are the internal tests. MCQs, open book tests, student activity will be conducted for 20 each. Average of these 3 will be taken, that is 20 average will be taken. Log records are maintained for this, and CO will be assigned by the course coordinator. So totally CIE marks will be for 50 marks, and the SEE is nothing but semester end examination, which is conducted by the State Board of Technical Examination. So this board will conduct the exam for 50 marks. It will be at the end of the course. So answer scripts are there that will be evaluated through the zonals. All COs will be taken into account. Total 100 marks test will be conducted. 100 marks assessment will be there. Rewards will be there for the direct assessment. Indirect assessments will be conducted for the ensuring COs which are covered or not, to ensure the effectiveness of the delivery and instructions and assessment methods. That for the ensurement of those things, we are going to have student feedback sessions at the middle of the course, and at the end of the course survey will be conducted, and that will be at the end of the course. For that, questionnaires are provided. So this is course assessment and evaluation chart which is there in your syllabus. You can go through it. So then assessment marks and timeline is given here. CIE 1, that is continuous internal assessment, number 1 will be conducted for 30 marks. Number 2, second test will be conducted for 30 marks. Third test will be conducted for the 30 marks. Total 30 plus 30 plus 30 for 60 marks. 60 plus 30, 90 marks. 90 divided by 3. That is 30 marks. That is for the 30 marks. Next, CIE 4, CIE 5, CIE 6. Those are for MCQ, open book test. Student activity will be conducted for 20 each, and average of which will be taken, that is 20 marks. Total CIE evaluation will be for 50. Semester end is for 50. Total 100 marks. Let us start the introduction. So these are the total marks of assessment, 100 marks. Next we will discuss the introduction. The introduction of the materials of construction or construction materials. Do you know what is construction material? So you must have seen lot of construction material here and there on roads or wherever you go while traveling and all. So generally commonly used construction materials are bricks. This is artificial construction material. So cement, concrete, sand. You can see the sand in subsequent chapters. You are going to learn these materials. Reinforced ribbed bars, which are used in the RCC, reinforced concrete slabs and concrete beams, concrete structures. Then glass materials, plastics, wood, tiles, etc. These are the materials, some of the materials. Along with that, you can see here some wood material, then tiles. Then this is you can say this is your GI sheets, all these materials. So next we will see some more material like cement, bricks, coarse aggregate. So jelly, generally the general name of the coarse aggregate is jelly, but technical name is coarse aggregate. So ribbed bars, we have seen GI sheets, paints. So these are the fourth blocks, clay blocks. These are made up of clays and generally used in the construction industry nowadays, which will give you noise insulation as well as heat insulation too. So these properties eventually you are going to learn in the upcoming classes. So next, so these are some of the pictures I have put here to show the exact finishing of the structure. So this is how the building looks if you use the quality materials and different kind of composite materials by using all these COs, course outcomes. So this is your slab, some granite slab is there. So this you can see the interior designs. All these interior designs needs to be involved with a lot of composite materials and lot of artificial and other materials too. So you can see some of the materials. I mean, this one masonry work is seen here. So some work is, I mean, entire building is shown here. This building will be having with a lot of composite materials, concrete, artificial and natural material combined together. We can form the buildings. So next, see, you can see here stones. This we are going to study in the next session. So stones are very common or very general natural construction material, widely used in the industries, widely used in our construction industry. So why should a civil engineer must learn construction materials? Why? civil engineer must learn construction materials, because the engineering structures which are constructed by the using materials, these materials are known as construction materials or materials of construction. So it is necessary for an engineer or a civil engineer to know about the properties of the materials before making the final decision of the materials for the construction. So before making a final decision of the materials, the person who is involved in the construction, like engineers, architects, consultants, should decide what kind of materials to be used based on the different various parameters choices he has to make. The properties of the water resistant, fire resistance, appearance, permeability, etc. should be properly studied before choosing the materials, because the material which is chosen for one place may not be suitable for the other location or other place too. So based on those things, the materials should be selected. That we will discuss in next slide. Building materials industry is an important contributor in our national economy, as its output governs both the rate and quality of the construction work. So if the building material industry gives more products, more output, then the construction activities will be faster and it will be very fast, as well as the quality will be very good. So the building material industry should give the very good output, and this is very much essential because 5% of the Indian GDP is contributed by our construction industry, and there are around 16 million people who are given jobs from the construction industry. So that is why this building material industry plays a very important role in the national GDP. Choice of construction materials. Important factors which are considered while choosing the construction materials depends on are climatic background. So while choosing the construction materials, so climatic background should be seen or studied. We should choose the materials which are suits the climatic condition of the locality. Different materials are chosen for different locality for different climatic conditions. So the material which is chosen at Bangalore may not be suitable for the climate which is there at Jammu and Kashmir or any Arunachal Pradesh or somewhere in western countries with huge temperature difference or humidity difference. That is why the climatic background is very much essential while choosing the construction material. Suppose say if I want to use M20 grade, for M20 grade is a concrete grade. If I use that concrete in Bangalore for foundation, M20-25 is okay. But the same concrete I can't use for the same foundation at the Kolkata or any coastal area, because wherever you dig around 5 to 10 feet you will get the water. In that case you have to use higher grade concrete and you have to dig very high, deep foundation needs to be provided. That is why climatic condition is very much essential. Suppose if you say if you use cold concrete, or can say ice concrete in Bangalore for a mass foundation, that is okay, you can use it. But the same concrete you can't use in Jammu and Kashmir or any cold weather countries, because the specific material have got its specific properties that will be decided based upon the climatic background. Economic aspect is very much important. Based on the cost of materials, there are number of variant and classes of building materials are available in the market. So however you have seen the mobiles with 5,000, you have seen the smartphones with 15,000, 50,000 also. That is based on the cost, you will get the same smartphone. Similarly in our case of building materials, you have class A bricks, class B bricks and class C bricks too, and you have class A brand cement, B brand cements and C brand cements too. These brands of cements will have different prices, like 380 rupees prices for some of the Ultratech ACC cements and all may give you around 350 to 380 rupees price. Same The next grade of cements like Bharti and Zuari, or you can say your Dalmia cement, or maybe some 20 to 30 rupees lesser price than what you were paid in class A cements. Similarly, there are third brand cements, or you can say class 3 or class C cements, which cements may cost you around 280 to 300 rupees. So economic aspects of the consumer is very much essential while selecting the construction materials. Use of advanced tools in the construction. Due to the usage of advanced tools in the construction industry nowadays, like 100 floor concrete you are going to construct. If that 100 floor concrete, if you pump the concrete as you are pumping in your first floor, it is not going to be workable. So for that you have to make a flowable concrete. Flowable concrete should be designed so that it can be pumped like a water at the 100th floor of the building. So that is very common. So by doing so, you can get the maximum productivity from the equipments, and you can use it optimally. The fourth one while choosing the construction material you have to consider is properties requirement. Materials properties like strength at low and high temperatures, resistance to the ordinary water and seawater, acid and alkalis, etc. So properties requirement of the particular material is very much essential. Suppose say if I want to use some tiles at the bathroom which will having certain properties, like porous concrete porous tiles I can't use in bathroom because I need their waterproofing. So the same solid I can't use at a car, solid tiles or solid blocks I can't use at the car washing area, because car washing area needs what? It needs porous concrete or porous floor, so that the water can flow out easily. Number 5, purpose of use. Suitable material for the interior decoration of the residence, public buildings, gardens and parks, etc. Pleasant to the eye, durable and strong. The purpose of use should be decided, whether I am using it for interior decoration or exterior decoration or public buildings, gardens, parks, because the purpose, one material has got one purpose, the other material has got different purpose. So if it is very much essential to use some pleasant to eye, like if you need your building exterior should look good, then you have to use it exterior. Like wall claddings will come, different wall claddings, different types of wall claddings that you can utilize at the exterior buildings. Gardens and parks, you can see there are a lot of benches, concrete benches and all they have utilized, because that is suitable for that particular parks and all, where people come and sit and then they can go. You can't use there some wooden kind of material, because that may go deteriorate eventually because of weathering agents. So this purpose of use is very much important while choosing the materials. Design requirements also to be considered. Suitable materials to satisfy the structural and architectural requirements. So these are some of the choices you can make based on these considerations. Choice is not just limited. One can customize the material to meet their requirements. So before understanding the building materials, it is very much essential to know the elements of different types of materials, elements of wherever a building is there, and building parts, and parts are called elements normally. So let us start from one by one. Let us start from the foundation level, right from the soil. The foundation is invisible and lies below the ground level, just beneath the walls. You have seen the different buildings, the foundation level will be invisible, it is seen below the ground. That is why that is shown in dotted lines. You can see this dotted line is a foundation which is shown because of dotted, because of it is not visible to the naked eyes. You can't see it unless you excavate there. So that is why it is shown in the dotted. So this building foundation will be done at the soil. Generally rubble masonry, or you can say size stone masonry is utilized, so that to construct the foundation level. Size stone masonry is generally utilized for the load bearing walls, and for the pillars and you can say framed structures, columns, concrete columns are utilized. The second one is, you can see here, this part, this is a plinth lies between the floor and the ground. Between the floor and the ground, this is called plinth. You might have seen, this is a difference. You will be having the steps from the ground, 2 to 3 steps, then you will climb and you will go inside the house. This is plinth, which is distance between your floor and actual ground level. So then there is something called as DPC, which lies floor level right below the walls, not under any openings like windows. DPC will be there. DPC is nothing but a damp proof course. Damp proof course is provided. Damp proof course, it means it will avoid the dampness entering into your house. So the damp proof course will be there throughout your beam, throughout your entire structure except on the openings. So then you can see the floor level or floor finished level, that is your tiles and all will be there in the house, that is floor level, floor finish level you can also say. Then you will be having walls. Internally you will be having partition walls. This is external walls, that is why it is the wall. Then there will be something called as sill, which is just below your window, that is attached to below your window, that is called as sill. You can write here SILL also, SILL, sill. So then you will be having door. You must have seen different doors. This is door. Its entire setup is called as door, and this is called as door shutter, and this is door frame. Then you have a windows here, windows with window shutter. Then windows are the openings which will be given sufficient support from the sill as well as lintel. So lintel is a beam which is constructed horizontally to carry this load coming up from the wall. So this is lintel. Generally it will be for olden buildings, it was on rocks, flat rocks, or you can use some wood kind of planks and used. But nowadays in RCC structure it will be an RCC beam, lintel beam. It is also not generally visible on the outside the inside the house. So you can see it once in the some of the buildings. You can see also they will make some decorative items there. Then you can see the pitched roof. This is called pitched roof because it is slope on other side. Some of flat slabs will come nowadays in RCC slabs. So this is pitched roof. So you will be having drainages throughout the building, so that when water comes here it will fall down. So then you will be having water supply line. Drainage line is nothing but one more sanitary line will come here. Sanitary line is nothing but whatever inside bathroom, toilets, kitchen outlets, everything will come through this line. It will be reached to the outside drains. So that is one thing you can give, and one more water drain vents will also be given here. So these are the different building elements. To understand materials in this course, in this particular course you have to see the different elements, because in near future you may use RCC slabs. Okay, so we may use window, we may use sill, we may use floor. All these are the different parts of the buildings. This you need to understand. This is a product session, so you need to understand this. This is one more structure. Pitched roof is there. Facade is nothing but it is facing the door, facing the road, and you have windows, inner space, basement. Basement is nothing but anything below ground level. So that is anything below the floor level is a basement. So this is one of the RCC framed structure. In this RCC framed structure you can see the flat plate, it means slab. Then you have interior columns. This is roof slab as well as you can say flat slab also. These are the drop panels. So these are column capitals. So these are slab on grade. Then basement wall. All these are the RCC structure, reinforced cement concrete building elements. So this will be having beams also. This is called a upturned beam, and these are called beams. One column will be connected with other column through beams. Over and above that there will be slab. So concrete slab, RCC beams, RCC columns. This is how the structure is constructed. So this is how the RCC structure is established. Let us see the RCC structure, what and all elements will come in the RCC structure. So you can see here the column is there. In this column, column is resting on the footing. This is called footing. This footing is resting on the soil. Okay, you can say subsoil. So below the ground level, footing will be excavated and done. This is spread footing. So this spread footing, over and above this column is rested, that is RCC column. RCC column above you will be having a beams. Beam is supported, that is not visible here. Here you can see a beam is visible. So in this is, you can see beam is visible here. So what will happen generally, entire slab load will fall on the beams which are connected transversely on the entire columns. This slab load will fall on the beams. Beam will carry everything from the slab and it will distribute to the columns, and this column will carry all the loads from the this floor, even above floors also, and then basement floor. All the load will be carried by these RCC, reinforced concrete columns, and then transferred to the spread footings. These footings, this footing will spread the entire load carried from the slab, then to the beam, then to the column, along with their dead load. Dead load is nothing but the self weight of the building elements, and then transferred to the entire soil portion which is there at the ground, soil or rocky portion. So this is how the load transfer happens in the building, or you can say RCC structures. RCC is nothing but, again I am reiterating you, don't confuse. In near future we are going to use this word plenty of times. RCC is nothing but reinforced cement concrete floor, or the RCC slab is nothing but reinforced cement concrete slab. RCC column is nothing but reinforced cement concrete column. RCC beam is nothing but cement concrete reinforced cement concrete beams. So these are the different elements. Wherever you go, wherever you are in bus stand, wherever you in hospitals, schools, colleges, buildings, you just have to observe. Even in cinema halls too, you have to just observe the materials used in the column. Column may be of not necessarily RCC everywhere. It may be of your wood, or it may be of stone, or it may be of concrete, whatever material they might have used. But this is called as column only. Vertical member is a column, horizontal member is a beam, that is thin beam. Then the slab, this sheet, or you can say slab will be sheet, flat, thickness will be very less, and length will be very high. So this is how the RCC structures will be there. Generally when it comes from the ground, that is called as just connected to the ground, that is called as ground floor. Then first floor is nothing but above the ground floor. Then second floor, subsequent floors will go. Okay, this is how it happens. And this is, you can see here, column drop is there, drop panels we call it. Not necessarily used in all the structures. Some of the PSC structures, drop panels are utilized. So this is how the RCC structures are built. So generally RCC structures has to be built by taking many parameters into consideration, that will be discussed in the subsequent semesters too. So RCC is nothing but, again I am reiterating, reinforced cement concrete, which will be having reinforcement bars, or you can say ribbed bars, cement and concrete. Cement concrete means cement concrete is nothing but cement plus water plus aggregates or jelly is utilized, that is cement concrete. But if you utilize bar inside it, that is called a reinforced cement concrete. So there are many advancement in the construction industry till today. So how the man has become so gentleman from a monkey. You can see here, from a monkey he has become just, the vertebrata started with the evolution. Then he started using a lot of tools. From when he started by using only mouth, then he started using some tools like stone, then he started using some handles with the same kind of stone, then he started with the see, you can see the dress is also advanced along with the his equipments, whatever he is holding. Similarly, he is now holding the era of computer, that is computer as a tool, and doing lot many things in a improvement direction. The scenario demands such kind of expertise, so hence the man is equipped with everything whatever he needs. In the same kind, the building materials also evolved in the construction. So earlier man used to stay in a tree, just a corner of the tree. Then he used to stay in a caves. Then he started some small buildings with earthen materials. Then good huts, completely covered huts. Then he started using good buildings. Then nowadays you can see skyscrapers, 100 floor, 200 floor buildings are coming up. So this advancement is taken place. What is essential part of this advancement? This advancement essential part is the materials. Material is the only thing which can make a structure from this to this entire high-rise, or you can say multi-story skyscrapers. So material advancement takes place from your soil. From the soil extraction, you have made bricks. From the bricks, again it has been developed having a burnt bricks, phorotherm blocks. Then you can say extraction of the earthen hematite, magnetite ores. Then man invented some steel. From steel, he again invented some. We have invented lot many other composite materials. Generally, composite material plays a very much important role in the evolution of the any materials. Composite material is nothing but two or more materials combined together and formed a single material. That is a composite material, and that material will be having lot of strength in it. That composition happened everywhere. Suppose say if you say concrete is a composite material. It is having aggregates, cement, and lot many things. If you see composite concrete, then concrete with fibers. So everything nowadays is coming with a composite style. So these composite materials makes the a perfect building with skyscrapers and all. So composite material is just a step ahead in advancement in construction materials. So construction material advancement will take place when the material becomes composite and makes lot of improvement in the properties, desirable properties. Then that composite material can be this is very much essential part for every engineer to innovate in every material. So whenever you go outside, just have a look on different kinds of buildings, like public buildings, hospitals, and institutions, or you can say good residential building. Have a appearance of the materials, structural materials, like even cladding, wall painting, wall designs, everything. Just have a look, collect the data, and create some very good taste on your subconscious mind. It will help you in future if you become a structural engineer, architect, whatever you become. You just that will going to help you. Just have that habit of having looks on buildings. So building appearance, just have the taste of getting good knowledge. So let us see some improvements in the knowledge if you gain through watching the buildings, just alone watching this building. Whenever you travel on bus, whenever you travel through trains, just have looks. So we'll see some of the multiple choice questions on this particular chapter or the particular session. When should engineer decide the selection of materials? Before construction starts, after construction starts, after registration? None of the above. Obviously, an engineer should decide about the selection of materials just before the construction starts, and then finalize the material based on the different parameters considered. Then what is RCC element? RCC element means reinforced century material element, ready cement concrete element, reinforced cement concrete elements, all of the above. Obviously it is reinforced cement concrete elements. Element means RCC slab, RCC column, RCC footing, or it may be RCC beams. All these comes under the RCC elements. Thank you so much for listening patiently for so many